Great new tablet, the XP Pen Pro 24-inch Generation 2. It's a bit of a hefty guy and so far has been very fun to draw and paint on. Is this the ultimate mid-tier tablet? Who is this for? And do I actually think it's a good piece of hardware? I'm going to answer all these questions and more throughout this video. Hi, my name is Tyler Edlin. I've been a professional artist and creator for about 15 years now. I have been using this for about a month now, and it's the absolute perfect size for my setup and my own preference when it comes to drawing. It's not too big, it's not as big as a big hefty 27 or 32 inches, and it's, not too small either. It's well above the 12 and the 16-inch sort of line. Be very similar to like their new 19-inch as well. This is the sweet spot for me where you get enough flexibility drawing and you're not going to cramp up from working too small. XP Pen is just becoming a well-known brand here in the world of digital art, graphic design, and creativity. The company is recognized now for producing devices that cater to both beginners and professionals. Of course, we have come to expect beautiful high-end displays. This is the non-4K version of it, so it's a bit more affordable. They have awesome pressure-sensitive styluses now, and their seamless compatibility with popular softwares like Illustrator, Photoshop, Clip Studio, and more. So let's get in the unboxing here and see what we get in the package. This comes in a beautiful, massive box on it. I love the art. It comes with, of course, an AC powered cord, the standard HDMIs, a DVI hookup. It has essentially multiple ways to hook it up. So whether you're going to go directly, if you have enough power with the USB Type-C, or you can split it off and have its own separate HDMI and power setup as well. It comes with its own stand attached. It is a standard Visa mount option, so you could replace it if you'd like, and you could mount it on an arm if you wish. It feels super sturdy and reliable, and that's what I love about it. I wish it had a few more notches though for the angles, in terms of like how it can go up and down. It kind of locks here and then here and then here. I wish it was like one or two more in the middle. Again, that's a personal preference thing. This is a beautiful display. It is anti-glare and has an anti-fingerprint etched glass screen. This looks pristine. I'm really impressed with how they stepped up the perceived quality of this just from the look alone. It has a larger kind of bezel around the edge than the older ones that I used last year, and it has much larger bezels than the old Huion one of the same size that I used last year as well. But it's not a problem. It does fit in my desk space, and the extra room does make it very easily so your hand is not slipping and sliding all over the place. We do have a new pen case that houses not one, but two different styluses. Eat it, whack 'em. And it comes with, of course, a variety of nibs. Now, I've never had to replace one of these. I don't use these things long enough to where the point I had to, but even in the past, I have used tablets for up to like 4 or 5 years. I've never had to replace them. I'm not like jamming on the pressure so they're just wearing thin really fast, but they do have a couple options for those that want to experiment and play and replace their nibs. Now, it even has a little replacement cover button that you can basically pull out the buttons on it if you don't want buttons on your stylus. Some people don't like them, and you could just replace it so it doesn't have any functionality in that regard. Now, the display itself doesn't have any buttons on it whatsoever, and what they're doing is basically including a shortcut key remote that comes with it. This is fully programmable and customizable. It feels lightweight, but it does get the job done. All you have to do is set up and download the drivers and install the software, and then you can get going with that. Alright, so up next, I'm going to run you guys through the specs of this tablet, all while giving a student a little bit of feedback on one of their current designs. Now, often before I sit down, before doing long creative work or feedback sessions with my students, I take shots of Magic Mind still. Magic Mind helps me draw better. Well, technically it doesn't, but the lion's mane mushroom in it helps my mental performance. The matcha in this gives me a bit of a boost to energy, so I'm more alert and can give better active feedback. Use the code TE20, link in the description, to save 48% off today on your first subscription. Now, this is a 24-inch screen powered by what they call their X3 Smart Chip. The exact resolution is 2560 by 1440. This does have a 165 Hz refresh rate, and it is fully laminated. There are no parallax errors between the stylus nib and the cursor on the screen, and I love this feature. So, as I mentioned previously, there is minimal light glare, which is extra important to me because I have lots of lights going on in my room to film stuff. And this has a nice natural resistance to draw on. These tablets now boast 16K levels of pressure sensitivity. I stopped feeling the difference after like 8, but they keep putting more pressure in there, and I think that's only a good thing for us. This is their Artist Pro line, and their color profiles are getting better every iteration. I do have to stress, this is not an independent computer, it is just a display. Last year I checked out their 24-inch FHD model, and I did have some color issues with it. I could not get it to match no matter how hard I tried my other displays. This was not a problem for me at all with this current version. It's equipped with professional color calibration software, what they call the XP Pen Color Master, and it's compatible with mainstream color meters. Essentially with this, you're able to quickly complete color calibration with one click and enjoy a smooth color calibration experience. And I just want to emphasize the biggest leap here, and that's with the 165 hertz refresh rate. The older models, the Gen 1, that was at just 60 hertz. And so with this, of course, we get a much smoother display. We have, reduced blur and dynamic scenes. And of course, this improves our visual fatigue. But more importantly for creators, right, in the process of creation, the pen and cursor are further fitted, right, and the speed is increased by 175%, which is at the fastest, and so that the creation is always smooth and efficient compared to competitors. If you've never used a tablet before, it's likely you might not even notice, but the tech is there and it is improving greatly. So yeah, I'm actually going to just sit here and do some drawing tests now and see how this goes so I can show you guys in real time how this thing behaves and performs. Now I love testing machines with multiple pieces of hardware, so today I'm giving my main rig a break and I have this hooked up to the mini PC from Gigum. If you didn't already know, this is a very compact machine, it stays silent, and it's upgradable. It is very energy efficient. This is great for gamers, content creators, and artists. So I thought this was I'm actually absolutely perfect to test out with this tablet now and see how this goes. So I can. Again, this is one of those things that I could save you some money by clicking the link below if you're potentially interested. Alright, so this is the software that comes up when you download and install the drivers. It's really simple and straightforward. You can choose the keyboard remote, you can select whatever pen you're using it, and you can of course program these functions. I want to go with the tablet here, and I want to show and test the pressure sensitivity. So I had it a little high, and that's just to show that I prefer to apply a lighter amount of pressure, but I'm bringing it back to more of the default setting now. It's very much instant. It works very efficiently. I can go thick to thin pretty easily. I don't have too many bad those little tails that happen when the pressure tends to taper off. And I recommend if you are trying a tablet like this to absolutely just mess with the settings to see your own pressure threshold, with these. I have a very light touch on these. I can't say that enough, so I have to be a little more selective with how I have this pressure applied. I would rather by default to have a little bit less pressure on these and still get a lot of the nice thin and thick, but I'm getting really consistent results with this, and that's what I'm looking for, the predictability and the reliability of a tablet like this. I love that the screen is fingerprint resistant, and I love how easy it is to kind of switch out and adjust the pressure threshold on these pens. So yeah, there's a lot of customizing that you can do with this, and this is just fun. I love just kind of playing and practicing with my mark making. Doing things like this is a great way to warm up for the day. So I'm just really going back and forth between doing thin to thick lines, thick to thin lines. This is the standard hard round Photoshop brush. So it's really predictable. It's very universal across any software. Whether you are using something more like Clip Studio Paint, whatever software, this is compatible with pretty much all of them. It works really, really well. I'm adjusting a little bit of the settings now in Photoshop just to kind of see how thin I can get these and how consistent. See, I'm going for a little more pressure toward the end. So it has a lot of sensitivity that you can apply to these. This is with a little bit smoothing turned on. And look at that. You get like this nice, light, feathery line. Absolutely splendid to paint with. Here's a nice little thin, gradually going to thick. Did they improve on the tilt with the pen here? And as you can see, I got the settings. I'm trying to make this brush big enough that you guys can actually kind of see. But yeah, I do feel it is improved. I only use so many kind of brushes that have a feature like this anyway, but it is noticeably better. This still doesn't have the rotation though, and that kind of bums me out a little. Alright, so how did they do? Is this a great tablet for a beginner or hobbyist artist? Absolutely. Could I use this as a professional daily? Definitely. Is this a Wacom replacement? I absolutely feel it is. This pretty much does it all at a fraction of the cost. Wacom literally sells their stands for more than a handful of XP Pen's tablets. Some notable things that they definitely improved on that I could see and feel were the color calibration. I had issues with their previous colors. I had trouble matching them. I didn't have any of those problems at all. There seemed to be more options within the software itself. I didn't have to go deep into my graphics card or anything and adjust it. It just looked really well and it matched up to my Dell monitors. The surface itself is much better. I think they've been going anti-glare for a while, but this one with the fingerprintless screen, that's a huge thing for me. I thought it was great. It looks very sleek and professional as a result. We also just looked at the pen tilt. I thought that was much improved from the previous one. It was far less jittery. They still don't have the pen rotation that I use or I used to use on a few of my brushes. That feature would be great, but again, to get that, you'd have to pay really high-end tablets to whack them to get it. Is it worth the price for that one little feature? I don't think so. I also want to reiterate, this version of the tablet was not a touch screen. I know for some of you that may or may not be a deal breaker. I don't like touchscreen tablets. I end up activating too many things accidentally and it gets finicky on my end. So I definitely prefer to go with one without a touch. But I'm pretty sure XP Pen does have ones that offer that feature if you're looking. But this is a pretty big tablet. It's not heavy enough that it's gonna make my desk sag like tablets I've had in the past, so it can fit into most workplaces. It is big enough that you would need to accommodate a certain space to it, but you could also, if you travel, you could bring it potentially in a car. I don't think I'd want to ship one of these on an airline for a business trip or anything, but if you're driving somewhere to like a summer house, you could bring it, you could set it up. That's what I'm going to do this summer, and you could draw there. And the tech for this size and the price ratio are all pretty good. I definitely would recommend it. Let me know below if you have any other questions. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, and I have links below for all this stuff, and I hope to offer you some savings with those today too. Thanks for watching, my friends. I'll catch you next time.